Hi, this is Christy Wellborn, and you're listening to Estes-Park-Radio.com. Time once again for the stars tonight. I am at the Estes Park Memorial Observatory. I'd like to welcome Mike Conley, Steve, and Irene Little. Mike?
Thank you, Christy. It's a pleasure to have you here. The first thing let's talk about is some of the recent stuff that's just happening in the sky. As most people are aware of, early November we had a asteroid flyby. It was 2005 YU-55. That's the name, the official name of it. And it actually came in between the orbit of the Earth and the Moon, which is really quite close.
Comparatively, it is.
Comparatively.
Yeah.
And I think they said it's the closest thing that we've had since 1976.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, as far as we know, right now, it's going to be the closest until 2026 or something.
2028.
2028.
2028. Okay.
Yeah, but they discovered it in 2005, and who knows that they won't discover something else tomorrow that's going to be here in a couple of years. So that's the way those things go. But it came close to the Earth, and there was never any problem.
No threat.
No threat. Even though there's a lot of doomsday sayers out there, there was no threat, and it had, it was an astronomical number, the possibility of ever hitting us. But
it was very small.
Very small. Let's see. There was some statistics given as to how big it could have been.
If it would have hit.
If it were to hit. They were talking about a magnitude 7 earthquake, the equivalent energy of a magnitude 7 earthquake.
If it would have hit someplace on Earth or something?
If it would have hit.
Oh, I think it would be much bigger than that.
Well,
That's what the paper said.
That's what the paper said? Wow.
But they said it was a city-sized crater,
Yes.
a large city-sized crater if it would have hit.
Yeah.
So
Where did it go?
it's still
still
going. It's still
orbiting.
going.
Its orbit takes it up almost to Mars, far out, and then it goes in close to Venus, apparently.
But it won't come back in our direction for a long time. Ever?
Every couple of years.
Every
okay.
few years, yeah.
But that's when it crosses the Earth's orbit. Probably does it maybe once a year, actually.
But this is the closest it's
sure.
I
the
get it.
Earth won't be
Yeah.
there.
Right.
So,
yeah.
in essence, it won't come close to us for, I think, a few hundred years. they
Right.
said.
I think it said 400 years until it's close again. But the other thing, there's Comet Elenin, that's it's up there right now, and it's also visible in the night sky. I don't know too much about that.
That's with binoculars.
That's with binoculars, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and the asteroid moved quite rapidly. It was like a magnitude 6, which is right at the threshold of night sky vision, your own vision.
But the moon was up. So
The moon was up. We looked for it.
Yeah.
We looked for it, and we couldn't see it.
Yeah.
The moon drowned it out. But it would have moved in a matter of hours across the sky. So it's not a comet will stay there for months. But an asteroid
Moving slowly.
It's moving slowly. The asteroid was moving quite rapidly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've got a meeting coming up, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Now I'm going to let Steve and Irene talk about the EVAS meeting that's coming up on Thursday, November 17th. November 17th. Yes. That's
7 o'clock,
7 o'clock. And Steve and Irene are our speakers. And so, Steve, why don't you tell us about our meeting?
Well, you always have to worry about what are you going to talk about? What you look through the magazine, see what's recent or something, and then sometimes an idea will hit you from left field. So we kind of decided to talk about astrology and astronomy. What's the connection between them? We always get by people basically call us astrologers, and we have to correct them and say, no,
I would
we don't
think you
cast
better correct them.
And we always, when we were in academics, we'd always get stuff addressed to the Department of Astrology, and we said, we should have gone to psychology for that.
Anyway.
But it's an honest mistake. And I think what we're going to talk about is the origin of the ideas of astrology. In fact, you got to thank astrology, because if some king didn't want an astrologer to cast a horoscope, there'd be nobody to pay people to look at the stars.
There you go.
And 5,000 or 4,000 years ago, people who we would call today astronomers were looking at the stars in order to cast horoscopes and look or whatever if they
That was
can.
actually one of the main things that Kepler was paid for, is
Yes.
that he had to do horoscopes.
And who was this?
Kepler,
Johannes
who,
Kepler, who discovered the motion of planetary orbits and so on.
okay.
they were elliptical
he was
orbits around the sun.
One of the great scientists of his era. His main source of support was casting horoscopes.
Is that right?
Doing astrology. Yeah, because nobody wanted that. Nobody cared about the laws of planetary motion. What they wanted to know was what was going to happen to them. And, so we're going to talk about that a bit. I think it'll be an interesting topic to talk about.
It starts with the Babylonians, the most recent, what we use, about 4,000 years ago.
You'll talk about how you're going to get your sun sign or
how you get your
astrological
right.
sign.
And your rising sign and those kind of things. Does it go into that?
Well,
Not
just
in
mention
detail.
it.
Not a lot
But
of detail.
basically,
No.
what we're really pointing out, that astrology and astronomy have very little connection, except the projection of the planets against the stars. Otherwise, it's totally
But it's going to be
unrelated.
quite interesting.
It should be very
It'll
interesting.
be very interesting. I bet we're going to get some new members.
Well, I think so.
Yeah, I think that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come?
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome to come.
Yes.
Yeah, no, the whole business of astrology, and we were pointing out in this, astrologers get paid when they put columns in the paper. We write columns
don't
for the
get
paper
paid.
and we don't get paid. So,
Boy, that's a good point.
But you can't project much from your columns.
No, well,
well, our columns don't tell you the future
No.
because nobody knows the future, really. I mean, astrology is more like a religion. And
is.
it has many religious aspects. And people are
Really?
believers,
Oh, believers.
Yeah, I mean, belief is very essential.
if you absolutely believe that those planets which are projected against those stars which are billions and trillions of miles away have anything to do with you. I mean that's how they determine you.
That's a
you
belief.
can't figure out
Yeah, that's
that
definitely
can
a
happen.
belief.
Anyway,
Well, I mean, you look at the
no, that's good.
cup and you get, tea leaves in the bottom, and you can also tell things from that too, which are equally good predictions of the future.
So the meeting will be astrology
talk will-
And you.
versus astronomy.
It's called
Well, not
astro-
really versus, but what are the astronomical origins of astrology, and what is astrology?
It's called astrology and you.
And you, okay.
And
And
that's
anyone can come.
Oh,
Anyone's
yes,
welcome.
yeah.
Yes,
It's at the
Typically-
observatory.
At the observatory.
starting at 7.
7.
Doors
And
open at 7. We generally start the talk around 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's questions. And then, provided the night's
Clear.
clear, we go up and look through the telescope
Okay.
and wear your heavy coat.
Right.
It's been so cold.
Oh,
It's been very cold.
cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you want to talk about one more thing, Mike?
Yes. The latest NASA mission. Okay, every 2 years we've been able to send a probe to Mars. It has an opportunity every 26 months that the orbital alignment is such that we can get to Mars in 26 months. Or, no, it takes us about 7 or 8 months, but it presents itself every 26 months. And the next one is called Mars Science Lab, which is now named Curiosity. When it gets very close to launching, they always give it a cute name. Catchy name, like Opportunity and Spirit. They're up there now. Well, Curiosity is the next one in line, and it's kind of the big brother of Opportunity and Spirit. If you said Opportunity and Spirit were like, they're like a golf cart size. This thing's going to be more on the line of a Volkswagen, a little bit, one's much bigger. And the other thing about it, it's got a nuclear source for energy, so we won't be dependent upon the solar cells, which is a big advantage that this vehicle will have, because it's going to have plenty of power to run its, I believe it's got 10 or 11 scientific experiments. The idea is a search for biological life, microbes. It's searching for microbes, and it has a laser cannon on there that it locks with, and it's got a drill, and it can go. They project it to go many miles.
Yes.
And its lifetime is expected to be in the order of about 2 years. We've had tremendous luck with Opportunity and Spirit. Finally, Spirit died about a year ago, and Opportunity's still chugging along.
What happened? What do you mean it died? What happened to it?
It finally mechanically failed. I think one of its wheels finally got stuck.
And where does it just...
It just sat there. And it sat there and gave out information for another 6 months until they couldn't get it to move, and then its solar cells finally, its batteries died. But Opportunity is still crawling around up there. It's been up there for 7 years now.
Wow.
And it's gone over 30 miles or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's visited several craters.
Several craters, tremendous amount of scientific information. And hopefully this Mars Science Lab, which is Curiosity, will do at least as good. Anyway, November 25th is the opening date of its launch window. Through like December 6th, it's going to go up on an Atlas V, which is our largest launch vehicle these days. And hopefully it'll be a success. So we're hanging. It's one of the premier NASA missions that's coming up.
Okay.
I should make one more comment. Is they just said that on the news today that the Russians launched a mission to Mars, and that failed to go into orbit.
Oh.
Second stage failed.
They did not ignite.
Yeah, that was they don't have the money to send many missions now in their space program, and this was the first one for a long time.
And it's too bad it failed.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah, it really is, because it was a small package. It was not a great big package, but at least it was something. And I think this is about $2 billion.
We're talking billions of dollars, $1.5 billion or something like that.
And the Russian was about 180 million.
Yes, yeah.
So it was a smaller package, but it's really sad to see anything end up in the ocean or whatever.
Anyway.
All right. Well, lots of good information. Thanks for joining us. And we're going to do part 2, and we're going to talk about what's in the stars for the rest of the year, what's in the sky.
That sounds
All right. Mike Connolly, Steve, and Irene Little, thank you so much. I'm Christy Wellborn, and you're listening to EstasParkRadio.com.